Hello and welcome to another replay. I am the Arverni. My allies are Macedon, Tylis and Pontus, and I'm going up against the Seleucids, Getae, Rome and the Iceni. Now this is quite a long battle. I'm going to see the Iceni rush out and Getae engage Pontus, although we won't capture all of that engagement because is going to go on. So as you can see, I've sort of built a standard, well, I've got a standard build here. So I have 3 Oath Sword, 3 Chosen Sword, 5 Celtic Warriors, 4 Levy Freemen, 3 Celtic Slingers, and 2 Heavy Horse. And this was really just to go into a battle against Rome or someone, and I was not expecting a 4th engagement, but that's what you get when you don't pay attention to the details. So, as you can see, the Seleucids have brought quite a small build. There, which is 4 silver shield swordsmen. You can see 2 Syrian heavy archers, and 2 pikemen, 2 horse skirmishers. It seems quite a strange build because silver shield swordsmen would do well in this engagement anyway. They're certainly a good counter to the Oath Sword. Macedon doesn't really have any infantry to match it. Tylis again would only have Oath Sword. Maybe Odrysian Thracian warriors would be able to do it, if Tylis has them. Pontus, I mean, again, no real counter there because Pontic swords aren't really that good. They'd certainly be a challenge to my chosen swords, but not to nowhere near the silver shield swordsman. So that's a rather solid build, but again, rather strange that he's levelled them up quite that much instead of getting more units, which is what could have helped. Rome also has quite a large cavalry contingent of socio-equites, and as we come into the battle here, you can see I'm beside Macedon. I'm going to go into slow motion. So we've got 5 hoplites at the front. They're followed up by 6 4-axe swordsmen, 3 archers behind that, 4 levy pikes behind that, and a companion cavalry. Over here we can see the Getae have positioned themselves rather strangely. So we've got 1 noble spear, 2 spear horsemen, 3 Dacian bowmen, and then what looks like 3 noble swords, yep, and 3 noble spears, and 4 phalanxmen, and a spear unit, with just spears. I think that probably is one of the lower tier spear units there. And Pontus is already firing on them, so the Getae are going to have to react to that very quickly. Pontus, of course, you can see the giant ballista just behind these bronze shield pikes, and 2 bronze shields and a levy pike. To the side is a mercenary Scythian horse archer and a mercenary Celtic horse. And here we can see Pontic Royal Cavalry, Cappadocian Cavalry, and more Cappadocian Cavalry. So Pontus is well equipped in terms of cavalry for this engagement, but so too is the Getae, although I would suspect that Pontus is more highly rated on cavalry. 3 Pontic swords there, and 2 Eastern archers, 3 Eastern slingers, and a Pontic peltast on the side there. Quite interesting to see the Pontic Peltas because that is a fairly good armour-piercing unit. And in front of that is an Eastern Spearman. So the Getae have lined themselves up by the fort. Meanwhile, on the other flank, we've got the Iceni seem to be going backwards towards the Roman cavalry, which is 4 units of Socio-Equites, which are facing the wrong way, which is strange, although there are these fireballs here, so it looks like they didn't really have time to deploy properly. Inside the fort we can see that some of the Seleucid units are starting to emerge. This is going to be one of the key units, the Silver Shield Swordsman. And auxiliary cavalry over there, heading towards the Roman cavalry. The Iceni are now going to push towards Tylis over here, so I'm just going to go back into normal now. So you can see the Chosen Sword Band, more Chosen Sword Band, lots of heavy infantry there, and heroic noble, heroic riders, veteran riders, more veteran riders, and a chariot there, which is surprising for this sort of engagement, really. British chariots aren't as good as the Skype chariots, so it's strange that he would have brought chariots, although they are less costly than a lot of the cavalry units. They do have a skirmishing potential, able to throw javelins, but I wouldn't say they were able to outdo raiding horsemen at Tylis, simply because they have more javelins and the way they're being used, certainly more maneuverable. See already one Briton slinger going there. That's because Tylis has deployed a line of about 5 Celtic slingers. They're now running back. Seems one of them was targeted, so that's quite good because they're targeting each other and just going for one unit. Over here, Rome's trying to redeploy the cavalry, so they're going to try and go that way. I'm simply just going to intercept with my heavy horse. The problem is they could go around Macedon. That's certainly something they could do. So I managed to intercept this one unit of Socio-Equites, and I've gone into this unit as well. I've gone into several units in fact at the same time, which is going to cost Rome more because they obviously want their cavalry for late game. I've also brought in 2 Levy Freemen, and I'm chasing the Roman cavalry away. More Levy Freemen, although they have, they're basically just going to head out to the battlefield, and we're not going to see them again. Over here I'm slamming into the back of the Iceni's heavy sword units. As you can see over there, the Iceni cavalry is being destroyed by a combination of tribal warriors and Levy Freemen. It's simply a case of rounding up the last of these units. Downhill charge of these Chosen Sword Band. It's not a very good charge, you can see. Certainly my Celtic warriors are going to take casualties from this. But the Iceni really are already broken, and that's one of the enemy armies gone. You can see Rome is now deployed out here. A line of Hastadi, 2 lines of Hastadi there. And Praetorian Guard back here. There are now engagements between Pontus and the Getae on the left flank. So Getae seem to have charged in some spear horsemen. And all of the Getae cavalry is fairly solid. I certainly have fun using Getae shock cavalry. Noble spears. 3 units of noble spears. 3 units of noble spears coming in. Meanwhile, Getae's infantry is attacking the Pontic line. So the pikemen are reforming now to try and take the phalanxmen. It seems they would be able to get their pikes down in time. Eastern archers, meanwhile, are opening fire on. Looks like the noble spears over here. But ultimately, the Getae are going to lose this engagement. Simply because the pikemen are able to block and screen Getae's units. I mean, these phalanxmen really should have charged into sheer pikemen. Tylis, meanwhile, is finding its way around, and you can see over there the Roman cavalry really is too far away to do any help at all. Of course, the only reason we can actually see the Roman cavalry is because I have my heavy horse and heavy freemen moving in to cut off any Roman cavalry attempts to swing the battle. It's all fairly... the engagement's going fairly well now for Pontus. Blocking noble swords over here. Somehow managing to lose. Oh, that's because they've been outmaneuvered. So ultimately they are going to lose this, but Pontic Seleucids cavalry coming in. It might have been better if Pontus had actually brought shock cavalry assistance. But raiding horsemen coming in there. It won't have much of an impact in the battle because the Seleucids cavalry will win. And this bronze shield pike is reformed to bombs in to Getae units. Tylis' noble force coming in. Cavalry, Macedonian general. See his formation over there. My heavy horse is now coming in as well. You can see they've suffered a lot of casualties thanks to charging into the Romans without their frenzy charge. See, there are small group fights also going on as well at the moment, so noble swords here being attacked by the companion cavalry, Pontic swords, noble pikemen, noble horse from Tylis as well there, raiding horsemen here chasing off some of the last units. Over here it seems that Eastern spearmen are winning engagements against some horse skirmishers, which is no real surprise. Eastern spearmen can hold their own against cavalry units, just they don't make a good infantry combat unit, as all spear units don't. Well, maybe Sparta, but they're not here. My heavy horse are now chasing down this Syrian heavy archer.
Follow quickly now!
So it's going to fast forward. So what's happened here is the Getae's remaining units, the Dacian bowmen, have come out. This noble spear unit. I think now this was an attempt to get more kills using these towers. by allowing the Getae to charge, well, allowing Macedon to charge in, and trying to block with the Noble Spear. But what I'm doing, I'm firing on it with all my remaining slingers. You can see one of them's being picked off.
Get running! Forward! Excellent! They will not try
Now Macedon is moving in, so that's another reason to stop firing. But also so I can target these pike units that are holding up the skids here. So you can see 2 pike in there. I'm also starting to bring in my very heavy melee infantry. The reason I'm doing this, I want to commit them to fighting against the Silver Shield Swordsman, because I know that's going to be a difficult unit to break. And I don't want to waste my 90 units later on. Essentially what I'm going to try and do is by committing my best infantry units, I'm hoping that the enemy units units, and by the time I engage lighter and less capable infantry, it'll actually be tired enough to be destroyed. I have actually committed quite a few Celtic warriors here, because I'm really hoping to try and get through the Silver Shield Swordsman.
Get your shields up!
The problem, of course, is they are a very good melee unit, and quite hard to get rid of them. Which is probably why Macedon over here have resorted to trying to burn down the wall. This tower, I don't know which one there. It seems to be going for the tower with the archers at the moment, but also burning down a section of the wall here.
Everyone in the fight!
Tylis, meanwhile, have engaged the pikemen, so you can see there's a tribal warrior trying to go to the front, and they're bringing in lighter infantry to get in from the side, which is going to work in this case. Thracian warriors have been brought in as well. They're going to do well in this engagement. They're heavy attack. Certainly they'll find it useful against more of the traditional sword and shield armed units. They're not, they haven't really got a good charge here. This is a fairly tanky unit, so see if they're able to actually get into it. Meanwhile, on this flank, nothing much has actually happened. Pontus is just trying to redeploy all its units. You can see there's a Eastern giant ballista crew seem to have found their way here. What was probably going on with the ballista crew, they were probably thinking of seeing if they could roll fireballs into this wall, I imagine. Try and open up the back, but probably not going to happen. Seleucids Romans now appear to be taking losses. These silver shield swords lost quite a few men. It's not clear what they've lost them from, but I think it's possibly from the archers and the 4-axe swordsmen throwing javelins. You can see now the silver shield swordsmen have held quite well, but they are slowly losing men. See that the Oathsworn has been engaged as well, so that's a good thing, because they really need to get rid of these silver shield swordsmen sooner rather than later, because they can rack up kills. Over here though, we're finding it hard to get through the Romans, which is quite strange considering it's just a starting versus my Celtic warriors. Along with that, we've got Tylis trying to push in heavy infantry. There is a Praetorian Guard unit in here, which is doing alright. Although the engagement with Macedon is going quite badly, thanks to the 4-axe swordsmen. We're now able to chip through the start. And there is no other units for Rome to back up with. These Astadi have been completely depleted by a mixture of the Macedon archer fire. Pontus swordsmen are going to be killed. They really shouldn't have charged in here alone. That is really a waste of a unit. They could have taken out some Astadi and useful. You can see the remains of the levy pikemen now fleeing. Over here, Tylis is finally going to break through. They managed to get rid of the silver shield swordsmen. The question is, can these exhausted units take it on with Astadi? Given that Rome has already lost most of its units, it's probably going to go to Tylis. Where we can see one unit is going, it's the Thracian warriors. It's just simply been melee engagement after melee engagement for the Thracian warriors, and because of their high attack and not as much armour, they are going to suffer in the engagements. So really it's up to the Oathsworn Thracian warriors, Gallo-Thracian infantry. Luckily the Astadi is a very light unit compared to most Roman infantry, so this should get in the way of Tylis units. Over here, Macedon has finally got through, but they haven't swung around or attempted to charge in, which is quite strange. I have, however, brought some of my more elite infantry around. Chosen swords, and I've got a unit of chosen swords here. So I'm going to allow to fire javelins and chosen sword there. It's actually the end of the Roman general. and all of Pontus's units now streaming in. And that's the end of the battle. So I think this was a very good engagement. Obviously my Celtic warriors didn't do too well here, but got a respectable number of kills. Oathsworn Chosen Sword units, not getting many kills. And the Chosen Sword units could have gone into the frontal engagement instead of the Celtic warriors, and I could have flanked with the Celtic warriors. So shame I didn't do that. I think a bit of a wasted opportunity there, and I could have got more kills, but otherwise a fairly good kill to loss ratio. Not very impressive though. Macedon again doing similarly to me. The 4-axe swords easily got through the Roman infantry. The pikemen were hardly used, and the hoplites got completely destroyed, taking out sections of wall. So we could do a long engagement, which was a good sacrifice really. Archers not getting many kills, but again they didn't have much to fire at because the enemy had pulled back inside the forts for most of that engagement. And the companion cavalry getting a fair number of kills and not losing any men, thanks to helping out Pontus. Tribal warrior, Tylis here. Oathsworn doing fairly well. The tribal warriors doing, I don't think that's good enough really, but then again they did have the tougher engagements against first the Iceni, which they nearly, they could have lost, and they also had to engage the Silver Shield swordsman at the side. Cavalry also getting quite a lot of kills, and they did have to engage early on against Iceni, so respectable there. Raiding horsemen, well, was it worth bringing them to an engagement? 31 kills. Questionable, really. Could have been used better, maybe, but you can see here Seleucids not doing well with their horse skirmishers. Pontus had a very tough time, and the Pontic swords not getting many kills. The bronze shield pikemen did do alright. Levy pikeman was sort of useful. I wasn't really paying too much attention to what it did. Eastern archers doing well. Eastern slingers doing well. Mercenary Scythian horse archer could have done better. Same with the Celtic light horse. Really it's for chasing off skirmishers, and there were quite a few opportunities to use that if it had been kept back. Cappadocian cavalry, this one seems to have done well and this one hasn't. Eastern giant ballista did very well actually. That's probably quite good for a ballista. And the Pontic Royal Cavalry not doing as well as it could. It could easily rack up a lot more kills, and you have to remember it's shock cavalry units and shouldn't be engaged in melee combat. Really it needs to pull out of any serious engagement with spear units, and I don't think that was done. Getae, this was I don't think this was a good enough build. I mean, the noble swords and phalanxmen are the only infantry that Getae have, so obviously that's all you're going to see. The spear horsemen, I may have gone for shock cavalry, I reckon. Would have been better if they could outflank, being backed up by more cavalry units, but I think the budget was fairly limited here, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Getae cavalry was simply too expensive for a better Getae build. Dacian bowmen not doing well, same with Dacian skirmishers, which is rather surprising because they should be doing well. Noble spearmen not doing well. Overall this Getae build just didn't deliver, and you can see in the stats here it just didn't deliver. I mean the same with the Seleucids again. Silver Shield swordsmen ranked up far too highly, that just wasn't worth putting the money into them. Same with Syrian heavy archers, and for that number of kills he could have just brought levy pikemen, so a rather bad build there. Rome, this was a fairly cheap build. I think there was too much going into the cavalry, and that was probably the downfall here. Could have done with more Roman heavy infantry. Iceni cavalry not doing well, they simply just charged in. Slingers and skirmishers not doing well. Again, they were just sort of attacking and they got rear charged by me, so no, ultimately they were going to do poorly. Heroic Noble and Chosen Swordband units not doing well again. I mean, they did get rear charged and ultimately they lost the engagement. I think maybe a less cavalry centered build, not focusing on Iceni cavalry, would have been better. Maybe even cheap swordband painted ones, that would have been good to see, but not here. And maybe they didn't need the Briton skirmishers. And they could have got rid of one of those slinger units as well, so fairly poor build choice there. And that's reflected in the losses as well, because the Iceni lose the most. Well, they don't lose the most, but in terms of losses to kills, that's certainly the biggest gap, I would say. And certainly the least number of kills. And they had quite a lot of units. Well, overall, we managed to win that, not by much, but it was thanks to these builds not being as much as they could have been. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.